In our last video, we took a look at the steal of the draft from the last 10 years. Now it's time to look at players that everyone thought was the bust of their draft after their rookie seasons and see what they're up to now. Some have turned it around pretty well, some not so much, but if you guys like the content, smash the like button, smash the subscribe button. Sorry for the delay on this upload. I ended up getting the thing that everyone's getting right now, but I'm feeling better, so let's get into this. Today's video is sponsored by PrizePicks. Most of you guys have come to know PrizePicks by now, the best player prop site, legal in most US states. It's super simple. They give you the line, you choose over or under. Now we missed last week, but we've got a pattern forming. We hit one week, miss the next. So that means today is the day, and I'm feeling good. Taking a look at all the lines, I decided to go with all small totals. We're going to start it off with my favorite category, 3-pointers made. Give me over Mikal Bridges, 1.5 threes. Jaylen Brown over 2.5 assists, easy. Killian Hayes over 6.5 points, just felt right due to today's topic. And then I threw in Chris Paul over 4 rebounds. If all this happens, my $20 entry is going to become $200. If you guys want to play along, go to the link in the description or use code Jimmer as seen on the screen, and they're going to give you a deposit match up to $100, which is crazy. Thank you PrizePicks for sponsoring today's video. We're going to start things off by going back to 2011. Now this is an interesting one, as while the draft ended up being loaded with some of the top talent in the league, most of that isn't from the top picks in this draft. There's a couple options in this class for the bust of the draft. You could make a case for Derek Williams, who was the 2nd overall pick to Minnesota, but I think he flashed enough potential in his rookie year to somewhat get excited. I would say it's probably either Enes Kanter or John Vesely, the 3rd and 6th overall picks in the draft. But because Kanter was taken a little bit higher, I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. Now, unlike Vesely, who lasted just a couple seasons in the league, Kanter's ended up having a pretty solid career. He's never managed to stick around a team for too long, but throughout his career, has averaged 11 points and 8 rebounds with career best in 2015 of 19 and 11. As time has gone on, he's struggled to adapt to the demands of the center position on the defensive end, but he's still in the league today on the Boston Celtics, averaging 5 points and 6 rebounds. Now, he's actually had a pretty interesting development off the court this season as he joined the long list of NBA players to actually switch their name while in the league. Today, he's going by Enes Freedom. Next up is 2012, and while Michael Kidd-Gilchrist, the 2nd overall pick in the draft, might now be considered the bust of the draft, back in 2013, we were still giving him a lot of excuses because he could play defense and dunk the ball. I would say the bust of the draft at the time was the 5th overall pick to Sacramento, Thomas Robinson. As a rookie, he averaged just 5 points and 4 rebounds, but with the emergence of DeMarcus Cousins in Sacramento, and the fact that he wasn't living up to expectations, he was actually traded at the deadline in a pretty irrelevant trade. He then continued to bounce around the league, never averaging over 6 points in a full season. The last time we saw him was on the Lakers in 2017. He then went overseas, and he's been there since. For 2013, I don't think there's a question, even at that time, it's the #1 pick in the draft to the Cavaliers. Now, a lot of people like to act like it was completely ridiculous that they decided to go with Anthony Bennett, but that really wasn't the case. Coming into that draft, it was one of the worst drafts we had ever seen. There were like 10 people in contention for the top pick, including guys like Alex Len, Nerlens Noel, and Cody Zeller, so I think it's safe to say the Cavaliers wouldn't have been much better off going elsewhere. After his terrible rookie season, averaging less than 5 points, shooting 36% from the field, Bennett was traded to Minnesota. He lasted just a season there, and after some short stints with Brooklyn and Toronto, he spent the rest of his career overseas or in the G League, and for the most part, he's actually played pretty well. He was able to win a EuroLeague title in 2017, and he's currently playing in Israel. In 2014, I think it's safe to say it was Dante Exum, the 5th overall pick in the draft to the Utah Jazz. There was so much excitement for him coming out of Australia, and while he was definitely looked at as a raw prospect, 5 points and 2 assists a game, shooting 35% from the field, was enough for him to be considered the bust of the draft at the time. The concerns furthered when he missed the entire following season due to a knee injury. The offense never came for Exum, but he showed enough on the defensive end to somehow convince the Jazz to extend him for a 3-year, $33 million contract. 2 seasons later, he would be traded to the Cavaliers in the Jordan Clarkson trade. A year later, he was traded to Houston, never played a game due to injury, and was waived in September of last year. Currently, he's playing for Barcelona in the Liga ACB. 2015 is another tough one. There's a couple options. Jahlil Okafor is probably the bust of the draft based on everything we know right now, but that wasn't the case back then. He actually had a pretty solid rookie season. Mario Hezonja, the 5th overall pick in the draft, was definitely not amazing, but as a foreign prospect, he didn't come in with the same expectations immediately as some of the other top picks. I think it was probably Stanley Johnson. There was so much hype for him coming out of Arizona as the 8th overall pick to the Pistons. As a rookie, he averages 8 points and 4 rebounds, shooting an abysmal 37% from the field and 31% from 3. It never really got much better after that. In the middle of his 4th season, he was traded to the Pelicans. He then signed with the Raptors, where he's been the past 2 seasons. He went into this year unsigned, started off in the G League, but recently got a 10-day with the Lakers and actually managed to get another 10-day contract, which he's in the middle of right now. In 2016, we've got another no-brainer. Fresh off the success of Kristaps Porzingis, a similar prospect in Dragan Bender got a lot of attention leading up to the draft. Once taking the court, it was pretty clear that the Phoenix Suns weren't getting Porzingis. He averaged 3 points and 2 rebounds, shooting an impressively bad 35% from the field and 27% from 3. Like a lot of guys on this list, it didn't get much better. After his rookie contract with the Suns, he signed a 2-year minimum deal with the Bucks, but was waived after just 1 season. The last time we saw him was on a 10-day contract with the Warriors in 2020. Since then, he's been playing overseas. For 2017, we've got our second #1 pick in the video, Markelle Fultz. While yes, he barely played due to injury, this wasn't your typical injury situation. It was some mysterious shoulder injury that was going undiagnosed that caused him to completely lose any ability he ever had to shoot the ball. We saw enough from leaked footage and the small time we saw him on the court to have some serious long-time concerns. Those concerns were valid, as the following season, he would average just 8 points, shooting 42% from the field and 29% from 3. After that season, he was traded to the Orlando Magic for a bag of chips. Now, he actually looked pretty impressive in his first season there and managed to land a 3-year, $50 million contract extension, but 3 games into this past season, he tore his ACL, and we haven't seen him on the court since. It's going to be interesting to see where he fits into this team once he returns with all the young talent that's been added to this backcourt. 2018 is another tough one. While in retrospect, I think we've got to go with Marvin Bagley. At the time, there wasn't a clear guy. Maybe Mo Bamba, but I think too many people were holding on to hope. I'll probably have to go down to the 13th pick, where we've got Jerome Robinson. He averaged just 3 points, shooting 40% from the field and 32% from 3. Midway through his second season, he was sent to the Wizards, where he's been the past 2 years, and all things considered, has been just as bad. This season, he's averaging 5 points, shooting less than 30% from the field. Sadly, unless things turn around very quickly, his NBA career could be coming to an end. At the time of the 2019 class's rookie season, Jarrett Culver was without a doubt the bust of the draft, and this was a surprise to most. After leading Texas Tech to an NCAA title appearance, there were pretty heavy expectations for him going to the Timberwolves with a 6th overall pick. I don't think many were expecting him to be on the board at 6. As a rookie, he averaged just 9 points, shooting 40% from the field and less than 30% from 3, while also proving not to be nearly the defender we expected. His next season in Minnesota, it somehow got worse, and ahead of this season, he was traded to Memphis. So far, he's had a really small role, averaging less than 5 points a game. For the last draft of the video, we've got 2020, and this was a close 2-man race, and I still don't think I have a decision. You've got the 7th overall pick to the Pistons, Killian Hayes, and the 10th overall pick to the Phoenix Suns, Jalen Smith. Hayes averaged just 7 points, shooting 35% from the field, and Smith averaged just 2 points with barely a role. There were so many excuses from Pistons fans about Hayes due to the fact that he played just a handful of games, but time has not aged well for those. This season, he's averaging 6 points, shooting with even worse efficiency. Jalen Smith, on the other hand, has had an interesting development recently. The Suns actually decided to decline his 3rd-year option, so he's going to be a free agent this offseason, but he's actually playing really well right now. In the last 6 games, in his very first significant role in his career, he's averaging 16 points and 10 rebounds, shooting 55% from the field and 38% from 3. This is the player the Suns thought they were getting when they selected him over the obvious selection that I don't think I'll ever forgive the Suns for, of Tyrese Halliburton. If this keeps up, it's going to be really interesting to see what the market for him is in free agency. Based on what we've seen the last few games, it's looking like the Suns might have made a mistake by declining that option, something I don't think anyone disagreed with him doing at the time. But that's the video, guys. You guys give me your thoughts in the comments below. If you liked the video, smash the like button, smash the subscribe button, and I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.